Hello and welcome to Seaman High School. We're happy to have you here as the varsity Seaman Vikings take on the Washburn Rural Junior Blues.
I am Aaron McGill, and this is Ryan Zielsdorf, and we're thankful for you tuning in tonight to a great matchup tonight.
And as we announce the starting lineups for Washburn Rural, Savian Edwards, Joe Barry, Jordan White, R.M. Downing, and Drew Bortz for the Junior Blues. And for the Vikings, Trent Cox, Kobe Bonner, Kobe Jordan, Brock Hilbert, and Drayton Foster. Great starting lineup. However, they are missing Trey Duffy, which is going to be a huge factor here for the Vikes. A huge replacement they're going to have to fill if they're going to beat this rising Washburn Rural team as we send it to the court to begin this game. Recent update on Trey Duffy's injury. It has been confirmed that he has 2 stress fractures in his left foot. His first doctor's visit told him that he wouldn't be back for 4 weeks. His second appointment said he wouldn't be back for 3 months. And luckily for Viking fans, just today he talked to the doctor and he said that he could possibly return this Friday. Isn't that fantastic, Aaron?
Yeah, that's a huge upgrade for this Vikings offense and defense. 2 weeks in a row, Trey has gotten Scholar Athlete of the Week for WIBW, scoring 30 points for both games, and they really need him for this team.
Indeed they do. Trey last year was the Valley Center MVP of that tournament, was unable to travel down with the team due to the injury, and Kobe Bonner kind of fell into his shoes, really took over, but however they did not place very well in the tournament as Drayton Foster gets the layup to go there. First buckets for the Vikings.
Yeah, last year they got runner-up in that tournament, but this year they only placed 7th.
Very conservative offense here for the Junior Blues. 3 on the way is good from Savian Edwards. 2 straight threes for the Junior Blues. Can't have this happening very much if you're part of this Viking program.
Yeah, the Vikes playing a little lax defense there, allowing him to be open for that 3. They really got to have to press down on that defense if they're going to stop him.
Junior Blues fans wants to travel there. Ball goes out of bounds off Edwards' hands. It's going to stay with the Vikings. Kobe Jordan tried saving the ball there. Kobe Bonner driving inside, off balance layup, rebounded by the Junior Blues. Up the floor with a head of steam. Trent looked to take the charge but made a move around him and the bucket is good. Uncontested layup. Jordan White with the layup. Increases the Junior Blue lead to 8-2 already with just 6 minutes remaining here in the first. Brock making a move inside. Dishes it over to Drayton Foster. Drives inside. No foul called, but there is one on Brock Hilbert.
Yeah, and Drayton's really had to take the role of Duffy, play in that inside block and there inside the paint, and able to do pretty good this year so far as Duffy's been out, but just got to make those baskets.
Another 3 is good. Jordan White for 3. This is a very tall team they have here. 6'1" shooter there. Junior Blues fans are going crazy here. First time out there for the Vikings. 11-2. Junior Blues with the lead.
Yeah, and when the Junior Blues get off to a 3-3 run for the three-pointers, that says something in the game.
Vikings are going to obviously have to contest behind the arc, which, as we can see, is a huge factor already in this game. As Aaron said, shooting 3 for 3 already. And it's one thing to have them shooting behind the arc, And it's a different thing to have them making those shots that they're shooting from behind the arc. And that's where Seaman is falling into a hole here, and they got to grab them shovels and dig them way out.
Yeah, already digging themselves digging themselves a hole already.
Kobe Jordan looked for the pass. Kobe Bonner with a response three. Airballs that one. Rebounded by the junior Blues. Savian staying quiet in the corner. Pass it up, the three, and the layup is good. Once again by Jordan White. This defense from the Vikings so far has been very lackluster.
Yeah, and the junior Blues playing a full court press already early in the game.
Brock Hilbert with his first three of the game. And let me tell you what, Brock has very much stepped up in these last few games, getting up double-digit points, scoring very high in the Valley Center tournament, one of the higher scorers of the tournament. Kobe Jordan picking up the foul there. And that will send Downing to the free throw line to shoot two to try to increase this lead to double digits. Jake Spence checking into the game for Drayton Foster.
Yeah, now the Vikes going with the smaller set on the court now.
Jake has been rather silent since the winter break. And I don't know if that's because he hasn't been starting or if he just hasn't been getting enough minutes, but Jake is definitely a player who can keep that ball in possession with the trap that's happening right now. Being a football player he is very fast. Kobe Bonner passes up the three. Brock Hilbert for three, and that's two. Brock has just stepped it up and just is knocking these shots down.
Yeah,
very impressive.
Yeah, now the Vikes have gotten two threes now. They just now got to step up their defense.
Brock's playing tight defense there. Off the switch, Kobe Jordan joins him. Vikings are really double teaming right now. Seems to be effective. Can't drive the ball inside, which is another element that we did not talk about, Aaron, that you just can't win games by shooting threes all day long. You got to work the ball inside, and so far the Vikes have stopped them from doing that. All the layups that the Junior Blues have been getting have been off fast breaks or just break down in defense, which is very rare as of late. Brock, another three contested, just off the mark, off the front rim. Junior Blues corral the ball, bringing the ball up.
Yeah,
Joe Barry.
It was about a foot off the arc there and just too long.
Kobe Bonner driving inside, full head of steam, just off the mark on the layup. Couldn't hit the rim. And Kobe Jordan puts it up strong.
Kobe Jordan.
Yeah, now the Vikes are actually picking up shovels now and putting dirt back in that hole they were creating earlier in the game.
It's a good metaphor there, Aaron. Great double team there from the Vikings. And one floater is good. Jordan White is the only one that can seem to get down low here this evening. However, the way he is built, he is 6'1", senior. That's a big body working inside. The freshman, Mateo Hyman, checking in for Brock Hilbert. Mateo has been getting a decent amount of varsity minutes here for the Vikings this season for only being a freshman.
Yeah, Coach Cox really had to remake his starting lineups and the way he likes to run his offense with the injured Trey Duffy out.
Off pass there by Kobe Bonner. Jake Spence loses the ball, and that becomes a transitional layup there from Savian Edwards. increasing the lead to 20-10 with 2:15 remaining here in the first. Trent Cox down low pass to Jake Spence, and he is fouled, and they're going to call it on the floor. Didn't make the shot anyway, so don't really think it would have mattered too much, except free throws. However, Jake is not one of the better free throw shooters on the team, so probably for the best. As Jake has the ball right now, drives inside, kicks it over to Trent, and slips to the ground.
Great defense there by the Junior Blues, not allowing him to drive in much at all, and really playing really hard on the ball there.
Junior Blues have just really been collapsing on the ball, pressuring them into corners where they can't really do much. And Seaman's somewhat been able to respond to this, just not enough to have the lead at this point. Free throw line jumper just off the mark, off the front rim there by Jordan White. My apologies, Downing. Armand is trapped there, and the nice pass there to Joe Barry for the contested layup. As we reach just under a minute and a half here, scores 22-10 as Trent gets a nice little floater to go there, decreasing the lead to just 10 now. Good ball movement here from the Junior Blues. Nice little spin move. Nice block from Kobe Bonner. And the ball's all over the floor there. Jake picks it up, throws it down the court to Kobe, loses the ball, and they're going to give that a foul.
Yeah, great defense there for the Vikes there on that Junior Blue possession. Really double teaming the person with the ball. That could be risky, leaving someone wide open, but it worked there with getting the turnover.
Junior Blues head coach Kevin Muff not happy with that call at all. That's Kobe Bonner shooting 2 free throws here. Gets the first one to go. Uzziah Irvin and Jacob Boyles checking in for Trent Cox and Kobe Jordan. Jacob Boyles, another junior who has been stepping up and getting points here for the Vikings.
Yeah, Drayton Foster and Jacob Boyles really stepping up in this team. They're going to be the main starters next year as all these seniors leave. So they're doing a great season so far.
Kobe Bonner just off the mark on that second free throw off the front rim, as the Junior Blues are wasting no time getting on the court as the clock continues to tick down at 40 seconds now remaining here in the first quarter. Contested layup, looked like a clean block to me, but they're going to give the foul to Jacob Boyles, picking up his first foul. Shooting 2, Joe Barry. Gets the first one to go. 23-13 is your score. Second free throw is good.
Yeah, and the Junior Blues here already playing full court press early in the first, in this game.
And depending on the endurance of this team, this could really make or break them, depending how much energy they use going into the second half. Kobe Bonner calling out the play. Counting down 6, 5. Kobe with a floater, gets it to go. Last second heave at the buzzer. No good, way short. As that's the end of the first quarter, 24-15. Junior Blues lead this one. Cox gonna set his team down and talk about what the positives and the negatives were of that first quarter. Don't want to go into the halftime break with too much of a deficit.
Yeah, and the Junior Blues there at the beginning of the game got real hot, shooting 3 for 3 on three-pointers. But so far it's slowed down later in that quarter. But which meant the Vikings were able to play some better defense and actually get some some baskets to fall, and able to crawl back in this game.
And that's a good point, Aaron, that they have been able to contain this Junior Blues team so far from behind the arc here late in the first quarter. Very different, very, very different from the first quarter, at the beginning of the first quarter when they knocked down 3 consecutive threes, really putting the Vikes in a hole early. And if you look at the points right now, those threes make a huge difference as the Vikes are down 9. And if I do the math correctly, 3 threes, that's 9 points. You stop them from shooting threes, and it's a tied ball game right now.
Yeah, in the first 5 possessions, the Junior Blues went, 3 for 3 on threes, like I said. But like after those 5 possessions, I think they only had 1 3 attempt, which wasn't even close. So the Vikes able to stop the behind the arc shooting.
Mateo driving inside, and they're going to call the foul on Noah Kruger.
No, Noah Krieger, that's his first personal.
The theme is purple out here in the Seaman student section. I rather enjoy it as purple is my favorite color. I can't speak for you, Aaron, but purple's
Well, it's not my favorite color, but it's a nice color.
Kobe Bonner driving inside. Contested floater is good. Kobe Bonner increasing his point total.
Right now Kobe Bonner trying to put the team on his back and get all the he's had most of the points so far in this game.
3-man defense there, and they're going to call the travel. Great press there as they press him down low, get him trapped by the baseline, unable to connect with anybody behind the arc.
Yeah, Washburn Rule now playing a little lax full court press, but still pressing Kobe Bonner pretty much at the opposite free throw line.
And I think we're starting to notice some of what I had mentioned earlier about getting tired as Kobe Bonner puts up the 3 just off the mark. That was an open 3 from the corner as Jake Spence finds Uzziah Irvin. Brings it back out to Kobe Bonner as he resets, finds Uzziah back down low off the pick and roll. Jacob to Jake Spence. Jacob for a contested jumper is good. Jacob Boyles with his first points of the game.
Yeah, using his big body against his man just to get the long jumper there for the 2 points.
And a couple jumpers later, Aaron, and it's a 5-point game. However, I speak too soon as the Junior Blues get a layup to go there. Joe Barry on the finish. 26-19 is your score with 6.5 remaining as Kobe Bonner goes to the ground and is fouled.
Yeah, a little push and shoving down there in the paint there and draws a foul.
Armand Downing with his first foul of the evening as Trent Cox and Kobe Jordan check into the game for Jake Spence and Uzziah Irvin.
Really haven't seen much of Uzziah Irvin this season. Been on the JV team some, but tonight able to get some minutes on the varsity team.
Mateo with a little shake and bake there, trying to find someone to pass to. Trent there for the rescue. Trent picks up his dribble. Could have been a travel there, but they're not going to call it. Kobe Jordan with a little move. And that ball is stolen away. Full court pass goes, and the layup is good by Joe Barry. And once again, it is a 9-point lead here for the Junior Blues. Cox not happy with how the Vikes are playing on offense right now.
Yeah, not a great offensive possession. Washburn Rule, like I said, playing some great press defense here, not allowing them to get inside the arc.
Kobe Bonner with a spin down low, gives it off to Kobe Jordan. Now back to Bonner. Finds Jacob Boyles for 3, passes up on it. Kobe Bonner with a steal, and he's going to be fouled to the floor, helped up by Jacob Boyles, and he's going to do a little push-up there. Drayton Foster and Brock Hilbert checking into the game for Jacob Boyles and Mateo Hyman. A couple substitutions for the Junior Blues as well. Slow-paced offense here for the Vikings. Kobe Jordan passing up a three once again. That's something I've noticed so far is that there's been a lot of pump fakes. No foul called there. Trent Cox should have been an and one or even a foul on the floor, but you got to call that.
Yeah, when your defender's on top of your back, that should be a foul.
Trent is not a pack mule. Double team there. Don't know how he got that layup to go, but nonetheless, 2 points for the Junior Blues. Joe Barry once again getting inside. A real beast, 6'2", and he's only a sophomore. Junior Blues with a sigh of relief there. Kobe Bonner, nice little fake, gives it off to Brock, but Brock cuts inside, and that's out of bounds. Miscommunication there. Seems to be hurting this team right now, miscommunication on offense.
Yeah, they need to communicate better. You know, they're down by 9, early in this game, and if they want to crawl back, they gotta talk to each other and see, oh, I'm going over here, or I'm going over here, and get the ball in the basket.
Coach Cox for the Vikings giving Kobe Bonner a break as he brings Jake Spence into the game. Joe Barry for three, just off the mark there. Kobe Jordan bringing the ball up the floor, drives inside, and he is fouled. So far, been a lot of fouls in this game. This could be a long one. 30-21 here, Junior Blues, with 3:50 remaining. Vikes to inbound. Jake Spence can't find anybody, and he's going to have to call a timeout. Oh, no, he's going to call the 5-second violation. Even though Jake called the timeout, Coach Cox is going to give the ref an earful on that one. Joe Barry, good pass across the floor there. Finds Jackson Glenn. Working the ball outside behind the arc, working the perimeter.
The Vikes have been able to play man most of the game, been able to work with the double teaming when they get that missed three there.
Jake Spence bringing the ball up the floor for the Vikings. Brock Hilbert passes up the jumper, drives inside, getting hacked, and they're gonna call a foul on the floor. Junior Blues fans wanted a jump ball. Foul is gonna be called on Jordan White. That's his first. 17 foul, putting the Vikes in the bonus, so Brock Hilbert will be shooting 1-1 here. First one is good. And that's something that the Vikes are going to need to do here because every point counts. Free throws are going to have to be a huge element in this game if they want to make a comeback.
Yeah, with a little under 3 minutes left in this first half, there's going to be more fouls. And the Vikes really got to capitalize on the fouls and get points out of them.
Brock Hilbert just off the mark on the free throws. The Junior Blues try to work on offense to get a possession to go as they find the pass inside. And that's going to be a jump ball. Junior Blues fans not happy with that one, as it was the same situation on the other side, just called differently. Kobe Bonner and Mateo Hyman checking back in for Brock Hilbert and Drayton Foster. One thing Trey is good at is team support. As even though he's hurt, going to high-five his teammates as they walk.
Yeah, really expressing his opinion on how they should be playing the game. Just like if he was out there and giving his input and his helpful advice out there.
Junior Blues working the perimeter once again. No look pass there. Ball's on the floor. Triple teamed. And that's a foul. Almost the and one. Jordan White can't get the bucket to go. Nonetheless, he will be going to the free throw line to shoot two. Trent Cox picking up his first foul, 5th team foul. 2 fouls away from the bonus. But with 2 minutes left here, don't know if they will be getting in the bonus by halftime, which could be good if you're the Vikings.
Yeah, and Junior Blues about to go up by 10 points here if they make this. Really just really deflating for this Vikings team. You know, it's hard to come back 10 points. I realize there's still another half to play, but with the way that the Junior Blues have been playing all night, it's going to be hard.
Indeed, Aaron, it will be, especially since the Vikings have basically, with an entire half that we've seen, have not been able to overcome this 10-point deficit. They have made it manageable with only 6 points at one point, but nonetheless haven't been able to really get anything started offensively, which is the problem. Defensively not been a problem, which we've seen consistently all season long. Vikings have not had a problem at all defensively, as Junior Blues come out of their timeout called. Kobe Bonner getting his team fired up, ready to go. Double team there is Jake Spence, and it looks like the Junior Blues are going back to the trap mentality. Jake Spence with a nice drive layup right there.
Yeah, they played the trap defense early in the game. Kind of went off it to a full court press, but now it looks like they're back to the trap defense.
Contested layup, no good there by Drew Bortz as the Vikings steal it. Tip pass, there goes Kobe Bonner, goes up strong, can't get the layup to go. And you got to finish those if you want to make a comeback.
Yeah, Kobe Bonner needs to make that, but it was a contested layup and he just wasn't able to fall.
Junior Blues kind of slowing the ball down here. As the three is put up, nothing but net. Jackson Glenn with the three, the 5'11" senior. As we tick down here, 50 seconds remaining here until the end of the first half. Your score 35-24 as the Vikings try to score here to make it more manageable going into the half. Jake Spence with a great pass there, but just turned over. Trent Cox loses the ball. Fast break, score is good. Armand Downing with the bucket. The left-handed layup to go. Increases the lead to 13 here with 20 seconds remaining in the first half. Looks like the Vikings are going to try and hold on for last bucket here, as they don't want the Junior Blues to make the score worse than it is already. Kobe Jordan for three. Gets it to go. Kobe Jordan with a huge three, especially with him not being a consistent three-point shooter. And the full court heave off the backboard, but no good as we go into the halftime break. 37-27. We will see you back for second half Viking basketball action. You have been listening to the SVTV broadcast from Seaman High School. I'll talk. Oh my gosh, that's loud. Welcome back to Seaman High School for an exciting second half of basketball here. Varsity boys at Seaman High School. The Seaman Vikings and the Washburn Rural Junior Blues. Here, down 10, you got to think the Vikes have just got to get on a roll here and score. Got to pick up the pace here as they begin the second half as we return back to Seaman High School for the second half of action. Vikings starting with the ball. Brock Hilbert giving it off to Drayton Foster, who almost loses the ball, and they're going to give it a jump ball early. And the wasted Viking possession from the beginning of the half. Got to be a possession you got to rely on if you are part of this Viking organization.
Yeah, Washburn Rural there really going after the ball, really in the first possession there and creating the turnover.
Already the burden begins as the Junior Blues get their first floater to go, increasing the lead to 12 already at the beginning of this second half. And I'm not saying, Aaron, this Viking squad is based on one man, but it truly is centered around a duo that when you are missing part of that duo, the team kind of loses its luster. Yeah. And without Trey on this roster right now, it's shown in these last couple games with the Vikings losing or coming close to a bunch of games that Trey could have helped them with. Again, not favoritizing towards one person, just simply stating that Trey needs to come back as the timeout is called here.
Yeah, and with that duo, what you're really talking about is Kobe Bonner and Trey Duffy. You know, Trey been out for a couple weeks now. He's the main scorer of the team, really working down low on that block and inside that paint there, and really getting the big layups. And with Kobe Bonner, you know, passing it to him, working more outside the arc, shooting more threes and jumpers. With part of them not there, it's really shown, like you said.
Trey Duffy, as we said earlier, may return this Friday. And if you're just tuning in, or if you haven't been paying attention to sports, KU just lost to Texas by 10 at home, and K-State increases to solo #1 in the Big 12. What a glorious day if you're a Wildcat fan. But nonetheless, here we are, Seaman High School, Seaman basketball. We can pay attention to college basketball another day. As the Junior Blues get another layup to go, increasing the lead to 16. And Coach Cox making substitutions as he's clearly not happy with what is being produced on the floor right now. Brock Hilbert with his third three of the evening, just in and out.
Yeah, and that last possession for the Junior Blues, the Vikings, I believe there's only 2 people that was behind the arc on the Junior Blues side of the court with that easy just drive in and layup.
Great defense in that entire possession from Brock Hilbert with the trap on the left side of the court to the trap down low with the turnover there. Going back Seaman basketball as Jacob Boyles comes back to the bench. Kobe Bonner trying to set up a play here. Kobe Jordan over to Trent Cox driving inside. Looking for Uzziah, but he was out of bounds. Kobe Jordan with his second three, just off the mark.
Yeah, and the last 3 Seaman possessions have been 3 attempts and 0 for 3.
Washburn Rural is just tearing this team up right now. Uzziah with the block there, and they're going to call him on the foul. A rather large crowd tonight for such a bitterly cold evening. And that cold temperatures are going to continue into the morning as we will have wind chills at about -15 degrees in the morning. Going to make the commute to school very cold in the morning. However, school will not be canceled if you are a Seaman Viking student. At the free throw line for Washburn Rural, Joe Barry gets the first one to go. Substitution for the Junior Blues, Noah Kruger checking in. As Trent Cox gets a word from his dad, who is also the head coach for the Vikings. Kobe Bonner bringing the ball up slow, which is somewhat contradicting as you want to create good possessions, although the clock continues to tick as you need points, being down 17 with 5 minutes remaining in the third.
Yeah, and the Washburn Rule players are went back to that trap like we saw at the end of the second half. Really able to trap the offense right in the corner, which makes them have to make some risky passes.
And you got to get smart shots if you're the Vikings, and Kobe Jordan shooting threes. Gets the floater to go there. Kobe Jordan, not the best three-point shooter, but has taken many attempts tonight. Only got one of those to fall, as the Seaman student section gets to stand now that they've got their first points of the second half.
But
contested floater, no good.
The first points were halfway through the third quarter, which is not good.
Junior Blues just trying to waste some time here as they have a pretty manageable lead. Great dish inside. Great ball movement. A three just off the mark by Kruger there. Down low rebound. Jordan White is fouled. Going up, he was hacked by several Vikings, but they're going to give it to Trent Cox. Picks up his second, which shouldn't really matter here as we are almost halfway through the second half. Free throw is good for the Junior Blues. Mateo Hyman checking in for Trent Cox. Trent wasn't in there long. Kind of interesting there that Coach Cox didn't recognize Trent as he was coming to the bench. Just kind of looked right past him. But that may be some of the reason why he's not on the floor right now. Kobe with a little shake and bake there. Kobe Bonner off the mark on the layup. Missed a lot of layups this game as the deflection. Kobe Jordan out of bounds.
Yeah, and it's really not been Kobe Bonner's game. You know, normally the Vikes really count on him for double-digit points, and he just has not been able to get much points fall for him tonight.
Which in some regard is not his fault, as they've been playing tight defense on him all night long. Wide open layup there. Noah Kruger getting the layup to go. And this is just slowly getting out of hand here as the lead increases to 19. And another steal. Junior Blues headed up the floor. Jake Spence one-on-one, and he's going to pick up the foul. Little sign of no hard feelings there, which is always good to see. Great sportsmanship, especially in high school games for young developing athletes. Free throw is good there by Savion Edwards, increasing the lead to 20 as Jacob Boyles checks in for Kobe Jordan. Rather low scoring game for the Vikings, only having 29 late in the third quarter. And the foul is going to be called on Jordan White, fouling Jake Spence quite aggressively there, trying to get the rebound. White picks up his second foul of the evening. Again, not too much of a concern with it being this late in the third quarter. Some good moves there by Kobe Bonner.
Yeah, trying to break his defender there. Break free of his defender.
Jacob Boyles with a couple rattles around the rim, gets that jumper to go from the left side. Brock Hilbert looking to check in, hasn't checked in quite yet, but is at the scorer's table. And that's somebody that's really going to need to step up, especially since Bonner has not been producing many points offensively. Kruger doing a nice job for the Junior Blues off the bench as Trent Cox and Brock Hilbert look to check in for Uzziah Irvin and Jake Spence. Uzziah, another player who hasn't produced much this evening, has a couple points, but when you're down 17, doesn't really do much.
Yeah.
Or 18, my apologies.
Well, Uzziah really hasn't played much varsity time, like I said earlier in the game. This season, played a lot more last season, but just not this season.
Jacob Boyles fighting for the rebound, and they're going to give that a jump ball in possession of the Vikings. A little miscommunication there on the call. As this game isn't quite out of reach yet, but definitely the hole's getting bigger. Tough fall there, and Kobe is on the ground hard, and he is hurting. Both players there, the Junior Blues and the Vikings, got tangled up there. Kobe Bonner and Austin Van Alist got tangled up there. And they're going to give that foul to Austin for the Blue Jays. Junior Blues. Got Junction City and Washburn Rural stuck in my head. Jacob Boyles for three, just off the mark. A couple inches away from being in. Kobe Bonner puts it up himself. Can't get that to go either. Mateo gets the board and puts it up and is fouled. Bucket is no good, but we'll go to the free throw line to shoot two. Mateo really needs to make these if the Vikings are going to have a chance to make a comeback here.
Yeah, freshman coming off the bench, able to play some varsity time. You know, Coach Cox really spreading the variety of players playing right now with their star hurt, but able there to get the free throw and shooting the second one. Just a great opportunity for him as a freshman.
We started seeing Mateo get his first big, I guess you could say, minutes starting at the Hayden game at Hayden, and that is the game where Trey was officially his last game, as he had been hurting a little bit before that, but wasn't bothering him too much. Finally fell in that game late, had to go to the hospital that night since all the doctor's offices were closed. Not too extreme, but like I said earlier, 2 stress fractures in his left foot. Could possibly be back by this Friday.
Which they're really going to need him with. On Friday, they're going to be hosting Manhattan. They went to Manhattan earlier this season, lost by 1 in overtime. And this would just be a great game as the Vikes are trying to, you know, go back up in the rankings of the Centennial League with the end of the season winding down pretty soon.
Junior Blues call the timeout there as Coach Cox brings out Brock Hilbert. I don't know if that's the best choice, with Brock being one of the better players on the floor as of late in this game shooting-wise. Shooting ice cold tonight. Not really getting the points up that they've been wanting, as it honestly could be over relatively soon if the Vikes don't pick this up by the beginning of the fourth, as it is an 18-point lead for the Junior Blues. Minute and a half here.
Yeah, like I said at the end of the first half, you know, 10 points is hard to come back from. Now 18 is going to be even more hard.
Jake Spence driving inside, almost loses it, gives it back to Mateo. Nice little move, dribbles left, gives it off to Trent. Double team trap, but escapes it as they leave their assignments there. Jake Spence drives inside. Nice clean block there by Austin Van Elst. Armand Downing.
Yeah, the Vikes playing man coverage here, not letting the Junior Blues get inside.
And they're going to say he stepped on the baseline there. Jordan White with the turnover, giving the ball back to the Vikes. And it's not like the Junior Blues aren't giving the Vikes any opportunity to come back. It's just Seaman's not capitalizing on any of these much-needed turnovers and empty possessions.
Yeah, at this point, the Vikes need any kind of points, mainly three-pointers because they're down so big. But they've shot in three-pointers, just not able to come down with them.
Jake Spence with that contested jumper there from the free throw line. And Jacob Boyles and Jake Spence both passed up threes on that play. As Aaron said, three-pointers are going to be crucial here coming up as we approach 3, 2, 1. And he's going to be fouled with 2.4 seconds left in the third. As I was saying, just you got to get the threes to fall. You got to even try and put those up, as Jacob and Jake were both wide open and just tried driving inside. First free throw was good. Nothing but the bottom of the net for Austin. Second free throw was good. Very flat shot. Not a lot of arch on that. You got to set up home run here. 2, 1. Trent with the heave. And the baseball player can't get it to go. Just short. As we go into the fourth quarter, 53-35. 18-point deficit for the Vikings. Got to have a miraculous comeback here if they're going to come back and win this thing.
Yeah, and I've seen some pretty cool comebacks in my years of watching basketball and any kind of sports. But if the Vikings are able to come back by 18 here, this would be up there in comebacks that I've seen.
It would be a great one.
Yeah, but as we've seen the Vikes play tonight, they're just not able to capitalize on their offensive possessions, and just had way too many turnovers.
And like you said, can't get anything offensively to go, can't convert. And even when the Junior Blues have an empty possession, a great stop, or just a turnover, in fact, can't capitalize on the other end, and that's why they're down 18. It was at 1.6, a very manageable score in the second quarter. Just wasn't able to come back. And it wasn't even like the Junior Blues went on a run either. They just were playing their style of ball, and Seaman just couldn't defend. And it's just been a very off night for this Viking squad. Trey very eager, I bet, to come back and try to help this team win.
Yeah, and, they didn't go on too much of a run, but in the first part of the second half, they did go on a little run there, scoring, I believe, eight points, I think, because the Vikes really, each possession was a turnover or just missed a basket and the other team got the rebound.
Last Friday, though, you got to give the Vikes credit. Had a great game against Topeka High at the Dungeon. Miraculous way. I don't even know how they did it. They had the lead by 2 possessions late in the fourth quarter. Just the Trojans went on a run and ended up winning that game by not very much. So you got to give the Vikes credit without Trey Duffy. But they look to redeem themselves with their first home game back since the Valley Center tournament. And that's going on the ground. That's going to be a foul on the Junior Blues. Joe Barry picking up another foul. And that's going to be team foul number 4, I believe. And and that is his second personal.
Yeah, and so far the Vikes have been undefeated at home. Looks like, you know, I'm not gonna say anything too soon, but it looks like that streak's not gonna be alive anymore, as they're down, you know, by 20 so far.
Jake Spence shoved out of bounds there by Joe Barry. Picks up another foul. That's his third now. And if you're Coach Muff, you got to be thinking you maybe want to take him out with 7 minutes remaining here in the fourth. However, you are up by 20 points.
Yeah, I don't think he's too worried about it, you know, just yet. His team's up by 20. You know, there's 7 minutes left. I think he's thinking about pretty soon putting in the backups for his team.
And Brock Hilbert hasn't played much, hardly at all this second half. A little bit of a concern. I don't know if Coach Cox is trying to keep him just occupied and available for later games. As I say that, Brock Hilbert going to the coach scores table there. As a horrible set of transitions there.
Yeah,
for the Vikes.
The Vikes were just dribbling down the field, and you know, the Junior Blues very aggressive, and you know, got the steal twice there. Able to capitalize once with 2 points, but a foul called there.
And they're going to say Brock was out of bounds on that inbound pass from Kobe Bonner. And now the lead is 22 for the Junior Blues. You got to be happy if you're a Washburn Rural fan.
Yeah, and still most of this fourth quarter left to play. You know, you really don't want to see this lead grow anymore as a, you know, Viking fan, but there's not much hope left.
Missed three there by Joe Barry, and he gets his own rebound. That's another thing that I've noticed, Aaron, in this game is that the Junior Blues have been getting their rebounds consistently after missed shots. It's another thing that's been hurting the Seaman Viking team without Trey Duffy.
Yeah, and the Vikes don't really have the height. You know, they've got, you know, about 2 or 3 players. The Junior Blues, I mean, have two or three players, you know, taller than our tallest guy, which out there right now is Colby Jordan, which is 6'2", and you know, the Junior Blues have 3 players that are 6'2" on their on their team right now.
Increasing the lead there to 14. The Junior Blues looking to bring out the broom and start sweeping away this Viking team, as Uzziah Irvin misses the layup there, which the student section for Seaman slowly diminishes down to just the front row. Brock with a nice steal there. Where's that been all night? Brock with a full head of steam. Looks to pass, gives it to Kobe Jordan. Kobe Bonner open for 3. Gets it to go, nothing but the bottom of the net. And you want to get excited about this, Aaron, but you're still down by 21 points.
Yeah, and as much as I want to say that's been happening, that's Kobe Bonner's been able to hit those all night. He really hasn't. That's just, I think, his second 3 of the night, and just not a good night for him.
And the Vikings haven't stopped playing hard, trying to come back here, as they've been diving for loose balls, sliding on the floor, really going all out here to try to win this game, even though they are down 21 points. Ref's looking for a slick spot there. Junior Blues trying to work the ball slow, but Coach Muff has another idea in his head, wanting them to pick up the pace a little bit. Trent Cox almost with the steal there. Nosey could have got that one. triple teamed. Floater is good. Another floater to go by Drew Bortz for the Junior Blues, increasing the lead back to 23 points.
Yeah, and that's Drew's first points of the night, with he just coming in as this lead, is to 21. Like I said, bringing in the junior varsity team to get some minutes here in this game.
Kobe Bonner with a nice layup there. 5 straight points, and you got to think, where has this been all game? Even though it is only 5 points, it's helping everything. A 21-point lead could only be maybe 10-point lead if Kobe Bonner could have been producing tonight.
And no doubt he has had some points tonight, just not his normal amount.
Definitely a lot more than I'd be having, Aaron. Washburn Rule going to call another timeout. Don't quite know why they keep calling timeouts with such a huge lead. Maybe just...
Well, their coach saw that they were having trouble, almost could have a turnover there, and he's still got some timeouts left in his pocket and decided to use one there.
And since this game is over and you may be tuning out or checking other sporting events, as I said earlier, KU falls to the Longhorns in Lawrence 63-53. Now that is not a score that you see from Kansas basketball often. 53 points, just an off shooting night, and great defensive effort from the Longhorns. We've been here since about 6:30, and when I started tuning into the KU game, the Longhorns had been doing great, shooting 3 balls, playing great defense, getting turnovers. I wasn't able to see the second half, but from what I saw in the first half, Texas was really dominating that game. And I got the alert on my phone early in this second half of the devastating news if you are a Jayhawk fan. But if you're a Wildcat fan, it's all good spirits as K-State rises to #1 in the Big 12 all by themselves. Great day to be a Wildcat. Definitely what they've needed after a deep, deep depression of K-State basketball in the past. Maybe K-State can end the streak of KU titles as Kobe gets fouled on the way up. And this is what they've really needed, just a little too late here as we get just under 4 minutes, down 21, and free throws at this point aren't really going to matter.
Well, they're not really going to matter, but they're still needed. Any playing time for this team, is really needed. Just the teamwork and the communication for the team is. Well, I'm just saying every minute matters.
Junior Blues bringing the ball up slow here as they look to just keep the lead here and not try to do anything too risky. Passes up on the 3, which could be quite smart here as they just kind of hold the ball, but they are double teamed. Kobe almost with the steal, but knocks it out of bounds, and that's going to stay with the Junior Blues. This game really has been over since the first 3 minutes. Not necessarily over since there was so much time, but the score has stayed pretty much the same. Just keeps increasing and increasing as the game progresses. A lot of Viking fans leaving early. That's not what you want to see for a senior here at Seaman High School. And Kobe Jordan hits another 3. Quite odd to see Kobe hitting so many 3s tonight.
Well, and he, their star, Kobe Bonner, not able to hit many 3s tonight, so other players really had to step up.
Seaman bringing the lead down to 19 as Jake Spence checks in for Brock Hilbert. And they may just want to keep Brock on the bench so he doesn't get hurt, so they can continue winning games when Trey returns, which we are hoping is this Friday.
Yeah, I think they really need him because we're playing a team. We went to their gymnasium, lost by 1 point in overtime, like I said earlier. That was with Trey, but I think it's gonna be a harder of a chance to win when we don't have our star players healthy.
Kobe Bonner with the contested floater there. Just a amazing floater to go. And floaters are hard to do, Aaron. And when you can get those contested and not being such a tall guy, Kobe, got to give the man credit.
He's a great basketball player. You know, he's really had his skills be grown as he's been a player on this team in the past years. You know, really took the role of point guard last season and led the team to the state tournament where they did lose their first game, but no worries. They were coming back this year with possibly, well, I think probably a better team. And so far it's been a very fruitful season.
Kobe Bonner spent many hours this summer at the Seaman High School gym working on his shooting and getting up. He actually consistently started dunking this summer. Very proud to tell his friends and teachers and administrators that to watch out for him on the court, as he had been consistently dunking. It was the big talk coming back from summer. Hasn't quite had a dunk yet. But Kobe Jordan against Topeka High on last Friday, the contested dunk, didn't see that coming at all.
Yeah, I wasn't able to really watch the game, but just, you know, just a great game there for the Vikes, even though they did lose. Just really tested this team without their star, but really, I believe the Vikes really learned a lot from that game.
Just from talking to you, Aaron, I've noticed that this time is really diminishing down to only a minute and a half here. And it is a 20-point game, and I think we can officially throw in the towel.
Yeah, this game really, with the Junior Blues with 20 points lead, you know, the Vikes gonna fall, not undefeated anymore at home. I believe that's gonna be 7-1 on the season at home. You know, they're gonna come back on Friday against Manhattan, like we've been talking about. Hopefully, their star can be back. And get a victory on. It's going to be the crowning for Snowball King and Queen.
Two of the basketball players here on the Viking squad are Snowball candidates. Two Snowball King candidates, Brock Hilbert and Kobe Bonner, seeing if they can take home the crown this Friday. However, the dance will be on Saturday from 7:30 to 10:30. If you're a Viking student, feel free to attend here at the high school on Saturday evening.
Yeah, and the Snowball King and Queen crowning will be during halftime of the boys game on Friday. Voting will actually be during 5th hour tomorrow for the students viewing this tonight. Even if we have school tomorrow.
Feel free to come and watch the crowning yourself on Friday. Your candidates, Mallory Lyfred, Mason Harder, Megan Skoke, who is also a Lady Vikes player, Allison Branham, a whole bunch of candidates here. Yeah. But let's get back to basketball here. You got Nathan Bertrand, Braden Harden, Micah Kobacheski, Kathan Stahlbaumer. Yeah. All the JV team out here.
Yeah, and when, you know, both teams have their JV team in, you know, just trying to get some minutes at the end of this game. This game's, you know, 20.1 seconds away from over. You know, there's really no point in keeping the varsity team back out there with the possibility of getting hurt. you know, and just move on forward to this next game on Friday.
Bailey Adams is also the other girl candidate, along with, as I said, Kobe Bonner, Brock Hilbert, Austin Cruz, Augie Chappis, and finally wrapping it all up, Joseph Cromie. It's going to be a great night. Voting is going to be very close. Being a part of the senior class is going to be great to see all of those guys and ladies take home the crown, see who can. But as the buzzer sounds, your final score 67-48. Vikings lose it here by 19. Not where you want to be, but they look to bounce back as possibly this Friday we see Trey Duffy back on the court, but that we live to tell that tale another day. You've been listening to the SVTV broadcast from Seaman High School.